What's going on, guys? In this video I'm talking about high intensity training plans. Mike Mentzer training program, the training style, high intensity, heavy duty. He goes in the gym, he gives it his all, bring his sets to failure, keep the rest period pretty small but low volume. Is it beneficial for you, especially as a natural lifter? I'll tell you all about it in this video. And by the way, whether you're natural or enhanced, actually this video can be super helpful for you. All right, so should you be doing more high intensity, low volume, or high volume, low intensity? So high volume, low intensity can look like basically taking more rest periods and pushing more weight. All right, but a style where you're keeping the intensity high but low volume, you can be doing shorter time of training, less exercises, but bringing your sets to failure and doing a lot of supersets, drops. And basically keeping the intensity high can mean many things. All right, you can keep the intensity high in a training plan by doing drop sets. All right, drop sets which means you're dropping the weight and doing another set. All right, let's say you're on a bench, you're doing 225, you drop the weight and you do 180, you go to failure. Well, that's a drop set. You keep the intensity high. You can do a superset. You've just finished with your bench, you can do a set of push-up. That's a superset. You bring also the intensity high. Pre-exhaustion techniques. So before jumping on the bench, well, you do a set of chest fly and then you go on the bench, and that way you keep the intensity high, you put more tension on the chest, and in this is a way of keeping the intensity high. You could do less rest periods. So instead of resting 2-3 minutes in between each set, you can bring it down to 1 minute, and that way you're keeping the intensity high. Yes, you're not lifting as much, but your chest is getting so much more tension, more activation in a lower volume, in a lower time. All right. So guys, in my opinion, and I've been training for over 13 years, and trust me, since I started keeping the intensity high, doing a lot of high intensity training style, trust me, my progress hasn't stopped. All right, I was reaching a plateau because when I used to focus more on the weight, taking more rest periods, all right, let's say I'm gonna take 2-3 minutes rest in between my bench just so I can bench 10 pounds more. Yes, maybe my strength was going up, but in terms of hypertrophy, looking better, my muscles growing, I wasn't doing much, I wasn't adding much size. All right, when I started training more of a high intensity training, which was more giant sets, all right, I do more supersets, drop sets. It might sound crazy to you, but today I did chest. I started with a chest pec fly, pre-exhausting my chest. Mike Mentzer used to love to do that. Pre-exhaust the chest and then boom, jump on the bench press right away. Even if I have just one plate, I'm repping the one plate and I feel my chest really tensing up, and the tension is just crazy. I feel every fiber of my chest working. I put back the bench press, I jump on the floor and I'm doing a set of push-up to failure, and I really go to failure, and then I get up, drink a bit of water, 60-second rest, and boom, by that time I'm at the pec deck fly machine doing another set. All right, training like that helped me grow so much. All right, it's crazy because I'm barely pressing 150 pounds as opposed to pressing 200 to 300 pounds, but taking more rest period. Well, it wasn't doing much for my chest. All right, a higher volume, lower intensity training plan didn't work much for me. All right, it might be good if your goal is prioritizing your strength, or for some people, they can react better to it, but I would say for the majority of people, they react better to high intensity training, low rest periods, and keeping that tension on the muscle. Pre-exhaustion technique, trust me, it's gold if your goal is building muscle mass. All right, if you see the guy at the gym that is like doing a lot of supersets, or the biggest guy at the gym curling the 25s and then going from curling the 25s to, I don't know, going on a preacher curl and doing the machine of the biceps. Well, the idea that I'm trying to bring is that you would see the big guys at the gym and they're not lifting a ton of weight. Why? Because they're bringing that muscle to failure in a way while keeping the intensity high without needing heavy weights. A lot of times heavy weights mean you gotta rest more when your focus is just on the weight. Also, you take away the focus of just bringing your muscle to failure and keeping that mind-muscle connection. All right, so that is why since I started doing high intensity training, it has been very good. Now I do high volume as well. Where I don't agree with Mike Mentzer is that he's more of a high intensity, low volume. He would say just train 3 times a week. This is where, personally, it doesn't work for me, because I believe that at a certain point, after doing that for years, well, you gotta up the volume. The volume is not the first thing you wanna up, the intensity is more important, but then after that, you gotta start upping the frequency. Yes, it's good enough to maintain 3 times a week, but growing at 3 times a week if you're natural, no. I think you gotta bring it to 5 or 6 times a week and do more, all right? While keeping the volume of each session pretty low, but the frequency is important, All right, so I would do maybe 1 hour, 1 hour 15, high intensity but frequent, 5 to 6 times a week. And that's what has worked best for me. So that's it for this video, guys. Keep your training intense, keep it high intensity, do a lot of drop sets, a lot of supersets, don't focus too much on the weight. And yes, bring your sets to failure while keeping good form. I see a lot of people that want to do the Mike Mentzer plan and they just start compromising the form like crazy. They're going to hurt their back. They're going to failure on their deadlift. It's just going to tear them up. Not ideal, all right? Make sure the form is good and make sure that you know your limit when you're going to failure. I love going to failure with exercises that are low risk, like the push-ups. So for example, I don't go to failure on my bench press, but right after my bench press, now I do it right away instead of push-up, and that's where I go to failure. Because now if I'm failing on the push-up, it's not as big of a deal. I fall on the floor, all right? And the chance of injury is lower, all right? The bar is not on me. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.